You want to start with a question, or you just want me to start blabbing?
With the trade, coach.
Well, obviously we're happy to get a guy of Stanley Pringle's quality onto the team. He looks, so far today, he looked healthy and looks like he can start playing for us. We got a lot to teach him in terms of system, and he has to learn from his, playing with teammates. He's played a little bit with LA and Japet with the national team, so we have that. But there's a lot to integrate. In the meantime, it's almost crushing to let Sol and Kevin and Jervy go. We're trying to figure out ways to replace those guys. Sol has been such a huge locker room presence in our team. He leads us in our prayers. He's a leader both off the court and on the court. And we think he's the #1 backcourt defender in the league. I know that other people think otherwise, but but for us, he's the #1 defensive player in the backcourt. So trying to replace him is very, very difficult. And then of course Kevin's one of the great young shooters, developing shooters in the league. It was hard to let him go. He was really the key piece because Northport really was wanting Kevin. I assume that's from Coach Pito. And then Jervy. Jervy didn't get to impact us like he could have or should have, but that's because he was playing behind Joe and Greg and Japet. They just couldn't get the time. But his history and his age, he's still young. He's still got a lot of basketball left in him. So they're getting 3 really great players and 3 guys. And I was just trying to explain to our team, those 3 players didn't warrant being traded. And it wasn't that they did something wrong or they weren't good enough or whatever. It's just that we had to make a move for what we hoped was an impact player in Stanley. So we had to give up 3 really good players to do that. The other side of the coin was the playing time. Stanley's going to walk in, play a lot of minutes, and then you got LA and you got Scotty. If you added Sol to that backcourt, then it's going to be hard to get playing time for everybody. Everybody's going to be unhappy. So we really thought about all those angles before we pulled the trigger, and we thought of a lot of different combinations, but basically that was the combination that Northport was satisfied with, and so we pulled the trigger. Didn't make it easy though. Very, very difficult. Very, very difficult for our guys. Kevin and Scotty and Aljon are the 3 musketeers in our team. The 3 of them are inseparable. So we broke up the 3 musketeers, so anyway, it was a tough trade, but I think down the line it'll prove to be a good one for us. We try to envision something like Scotty bringing the ball down the floor and having Justin on the right side and having Stanley on the left side, and think of all the options he has, and our big guys running the floor, Greg or Japet. It's just, there's a lot of nice things to see and think about. So, hopefully that vision will be realized, and we'll move forward and give us a better chance to win a championship.
How soon do you expect Stanley to play?
Sorry?
How soon do you expect him?
We're hoping him to play Saturday. As long as he can practice every day this week. We didn't see anything that was really holding him back. I know that when he takes his shoe off, that there's a little bit of bleeding because his stitches are not completely out, and there's still a lot of pressure on the bottom of his foot. But he says he's feeling good, and he said he's not feeling too much pain, so he wants to continue to play. So, if he wants to, we're certainly not going to hold him back. But we also want to be smart with that, just like we're trying to be smart with JD Dillinger. We know that JD is going to come back and really impact us at some point. We just want to make sure he's ready. Jervy Cruz right over there. We're holding our breath, waiting for him to come back. Then we got Jeff Chan. So, we still have, even though we lost 3 key players, we still have a we lost three key players from our core. We still have guys that were still coming into the lineup that are on the injury list right now. So we're hoping to get those guys ready. When we get those guys ready, we'll be complete. I think we can compete with just about anybody.
Coach, now you have a very deep guard roster. Do you think it's challenging for you to manage them?
Oh, for without a doubt. But Stanley and LA and Scotty are going to dominate those minutes. And basically, you're fitting 3 into 2 spots. So if you work it out, you work out the numbers. It usually comes out that all 3 guys can play around 36 minutes. So that's plenty. You don't want guys playing really any more than that because you're risking injury and the guys wearing down mentally or physically. So, but then we still want to try to integrate Tay into the lineup. Of course, Mark, and they're going to get some time as well. So, but those 3 guys, LA, Scotty, and Stanley, are going to dominate those guards' minutes. And I think everybody on our team knows that, and they're willing to take a step back and let those guys play. They are the acknowledged stars of the team. So, and as I was saying earlier, if you added Sol to that mix, now it becomes more of a problem, trying to keep everybody happy. But I think we can keep the 3 of them happy, playing together, as long as they're rotating with each other. There's no doubt that Scotty can play with either LA or Stanley, and so on. Stanley can play with LA or Scotty in the backcourt, and even the 3 of them can play together. So, so it's a nice combination to have. We can really work with it, I think.
Thanks.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. You guys talk to